My name is Vincent Kemosi. I'm the immediate former Member of Parliament, West Muganga constituency, and currently I'm serving as the National Chairperson, Jubilee Party. Yesterday night at around 10 p.m. in the night, while I was in my home at Ragenyo Kora village with my parents, I had just taken dinner with my parents and we were discussing family matters. I had a knock at the door, and my house people opened the door, and upon opening, the police officers came in, numbering about 20 of them who came to the house. Some were armed, about 10 of them in uniform, armed, and another 10 of them who were in civilian were not armed. Upon greeting them, one of the officers who introduced himself as the commander of that battalion informed me that I was a person of interest and there are issues which they would want me to respond to, and therefore they asked me to accompany them to the police station. But before we proceeded, I asked them, what have I committed, which crime have I committed? And as per the law and also the constitution, I needed to be informed of any crime or of any offense that I've committed. And then he told me that I will be informed once we proceed. And he also cautioned me, if I be cooperative, we will drive to the police station. But if I don't cooperate with them, they could handcuff me. So I told them I have no problem. I proceeded. We proceeded. We went outside my gate. I found out that there were two motor vehicles, the Land Cruisers, which were parked, which also had about 5 police officers outside. In total, there were about 25 police officers. Then I entered the Land Cruiser. They drove me to Nyamira police station, where they put me at around 10:45 in the night. And once they took me, I tried to inquire also what was my offense. At that particular time, they did not inform me, but they told me that they'd been instructed to arrest me and also put me in the cells. After a while, they put me in the cells in the Nyamira police station cells, and I stayed there until around 1 a.m. in the morning, when they called me and told me to go and record a statement. So I proceeded to record a statement, and among the issues they were asking me is that yesterday I had attended an event at Silonga Sports Grounds, where there was a ceremony of graduates who had completed their studies in vocational and training colleges, and I was given an opportunity to greet people, and which I did greet people, and I also gave my speech, and I did not talk about anybody. Thereafter, I left at outside the venue. As it has been, I met some of my supporters who stopped me. I had a brief chat with them, and then I proceeded to Sondu, where I spent the rest of the day, where I had a meeting with some few friends and also some few grassroots leaders from West Muganga. So I recorded my statement at around 1 a.m. to around 2 a.m. Then thereafter, they told me that they will consider releasing me on condition that I will adhere to the instructions which they want to give later. Then I told them I have no problem. They released me, and this morning at around 3 a.m. I was free. So I tried to inquire in a nutshell which offense I had committed. There was no offense. I was only told that I was mobilizing youths to come out in large numbers so that they can protest today. Something that I never did. And I want to say this for record. Kenyans are already tired with the Kenya Kwanza administration led by William Ruto. In this country, no leader is required to mobilize Kenyans to come out and protest. Kenyans themselves have already mobilized themselves.
It's to frustrate you. When the government decides to intimidate you, this is what happens. You go 20 policemen and more to one person who is unarmed, who is in his home, who is peaceful. You come with guns and threaten him. You come with plainclothes policemen and tell him that he needs to explain something at the station. Something which, if you are reasonable and you are independent, you can be able to have him explain from his own home. You don't have to take him to a police station. You don't have to take him to a cell. But because intimidation must be the key, then what do? You bundle him into a motor vehicle and go and lock him in a cell. And when you want to release him, you blackmail him. You tell him you must obey what we want to tell you to do so that we can release you. How then do we trust such a government? How then do we trust such a police force? Remember, when the president signed his first documents when he was sworn in, one of the things was the independence of the police. But these policemen are acting under the thumb of a political force. When you assume that somebody is going to create chaos, when you imagine that he's going to create chaos, and then you do not have even an iota of evidence, you do not have anything to show that he has actually committed any offense, not by speech, not by action, not by mobilizing, not by calling people, then there's something wrong. And this cannot be acceptable. We cannot allow the government to keep on threatening people because you have decided to take a stand over a different position. I know for a fact, because I have sat in that government. I know for a fact, because I sat with the current president. I know for a fact, because I moved around with him. And I know for a fact, because I campaigned for him. This is the nature of his operations. And I cannot step back saying that. The people who help him are now the people that he is crushing, that the people is bullying, that the people he does not want to speak anything against him. Why? Because first of all, they know what he can do or what he is, and that they do not want him there anymore. This cannot be the way, because when you promise people that there will not be any harassment, people will not be arrested haphazardly and all that, and yet you go back and do the same thing, tell me why we should trust you as our president. Tell me why we should trust you with your cabinet or your Minister of Interior and the PS. You are seeing people being beaten in Kisumu. You are seeing members of parliament who are in the opposition being beaten and being harassed. When did this start? It is because we have kept quiet. It is because we think that this is normal. It is because we are saying it will maybe tomorrow will come. But we can't wait for tomorrow. This is the time to act. This is the time to tell them this is wrong. If actually, and this is a fact, if Mheshimiwa Kemosi had done anything wrong, do you think they could have released him? No. Today, he would be in court. Today, he'd be facing charges. But why? Because today, there is some intended maandamano and all that. They think that maybe he may, and this is an imagination, that he might be able to mobilize people or do such a thing. But even in arresting him and putting him in custody with no exact charges or any wrong that he has done, the people knew. The people went to the station. The people were there overnight. They were saying, please release Mheshimiwa or tell us what wrong he has done. So for them, it was two wrongs now, and they were realizing that if they do not release him, people might storm the station. People might now start the maandamano. The one that they want to prevent might just start by their own action. It is time to say no. It is time to say one time. It is time to say that these people need to go home. We need to clean the slaves. We need to remove all those people that are there. The only way is to inject and say it is a one-term system. Let that gentleman leave and go home. And I'm certain when he goes to rest, we will not bully him. We will not harass him. When he's at home there, we will not visit him with 20 policemen and all those kind of things. We will do nothing.
Ama ningependa kuambia Kenya Kwanza government ikiongozwa na Mheshimiwa William Ruto, wacha kukua na wasiwasi. Wananchi wetu wa Kenya wamekataa na wamemalizana na wewe, kwa sababu uongozi wako umekamilika. waja kutisha viongozi wengine ambao wamechaguliwa, ambao wanaongoza watu wetu. Unatuma watu kushika Mheshimiwa Kemosi. It's very unfortunate. Sisi kama vijana tunasema hivi, we are just waiting next year to cast our vote, tukupeleke nyumbani. Nikipenda kuzungumza hivi, sasa sisi tukiamua kufanya maandamano, hakuna mwenye atasimamisha hiyo maandamano. Tukiamua kwamba hapa Kisii na Nyamira tunafanya maandamano, sisi tunajulikana, tutafanya. Na hakuna kitu ambayo itazuia maandamano, tukipanga maandamano vizuri. Mimi nikiwa rais hapa, nataka kuzungumza kinaya ubana ya kwamba lazima serikali iache kutumia vyombo vya madola vibaya. Kuna macriminals hapa ambao wanaibia watu masimu usiku. Wanapiga watu ngeta usiku. Wanaua watu usiku. Wanafanya vitu ambavyo sio nzuri. Wacha serikali ifanye investigation, ikamate hawa watu ambao ni criminals, sio mheshimiwa ambaye anakaa na familia yake kwake nyumbani. La mwisho, nataka kusema hivi. Viongozi wetu ambao wanampigia debe Mheshimiwa Dr. Fred Matiang'I kuwa rais wa 6 wa nchi yetu ya Kenya, akiwemo Mheshimiwa Onyonka, Mheshimiwa Kibagendi, Mheshimiwa Gisairo, Mheshimiwa Kemosi na wengine wote, nataka kuambia wananchi wetu wa Gusii, msimame imara na wao, kwa sababu sasa ile kitu ambayo inaendelea hapa ni witch hunt. Eti ya kwamba kwa sababu wana support Fred Matiang'I waangaishwe. Mimi nikisema hivi, we are not going to sleep. Tutasimama imara na hawa viongozi ambao wana support Dr. Fred Matiang'I kadri ya uwezo wetu.
The Kenyans at large, they do not need any leader to mobilize them. They are undergoing fairly difficult situation economically, and they have made a decision. We in the united opposition, we have not mobilized anybody to come out and protest. Kenyans themselves have decided, and they have said they will come out and protest. And that is their constitutional right. Under the constitution, mawakili wako hapa Cliffe to come out and protest, picket peacefully. What the government is doing is taking us to the dark days during the Nyayo era. And I want to say this. We, and I in particular, I was one of the people, very critical stakeholders. During the campaigns of 2022, I and some other leaders from the region, about 5 of us, we were appointed as the regional coordinators. I was in charge of Nyanza province as the coordinator of Kenya Kwanza. At that particular time, it sounded to them we were good, and after they formed the government, they threw us out, and we decided to join another formation that is receptive to us. We joined the United Opposition, and from the day that we joined the United Opposition, the Kenya Kwanza administration has been looking for us. I have spoken to some of the officers in the security sector in confidence this morning, and they have informed me that from this region, 3 people have been put on the radar. One of them is Honorable Kibagendi, who was arrested about 2 months ago, and he was charged in court. So he has been, their plan has been partly executed. Another one who is on the radar, who is being tracked, who is being monitored wherever he goes, is Senator Onyonka from this region. He is being tracked, he is being monitored, what he says, and they are looking for an opportunity to arrest him. And finally, myself here, I've been also on the radar since last year when we had the elections for Nyamaiya, when they also attempted to arrest me. But because I had a lot of supporters, numbering to about 500 of them, they did not manage to execute their plan. Since then, they have been looking for me, to arrest me, intimidate me for no good reason. And the reason that I'm being targeted is one and simple. Because one, I'm a member, active member of the United Opposition as the chairman of Jubilee part of Kenya. And then another reason is because I'm a supporter of His Excellency Fred Okengo Matiang'I. That is the reason where they are targeting us. And I want to say this to the Kenya Kwanza administration. we assisted you, William Ruto, to form this government. When you needed us most, you looked for us. When you needed us most, you called to your residence and they gave us instructions to oppose an attempt of Asmio penetrating in Kisii region. You gave us instructions to make sure that nobody, or at that particular time, you perceived His Excellency Fred Matiang'I to be fighting you politically. You gave us instructions, and when you were in need, we assisted you. Now that you have formed the government, you threw us out of that government. You've come back to intimidate us. And we are saying, from now henceforth, I've made one cardinal decision that no amount of intimidation, no amount of harassment, no amount of persuasion that will ever make me to back down. Yes. I'm not going to back down. My resolve is to make sure that William Ruto is a one-term president the way we put him in leadership. Yes. The people who put William Ruto in leadership are here. Cliffe, Ombeta is here. And many more, they are here. His Excellency Gashawa, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, and among others who I can be able to mention. We have made a resolve. If it means we have to die so that this Kenyan can be reparated, some of us, we are ready to die as martyrs. As long as this country is freed from oppression, from bad leadership, from arrogance, from theft, so that our children in the future can have a future. I have therefore resolved that from now henceforth, if you've been thinking that I've been opposing your government, be prepared, because I'm going to oppose this government 3 times. Sisi tumeamua kwa kauli moja upande huu wa Kisii na Gusii in general. Tumeamua kwa ikifika mwaka ujao, hata sisi kutoka hapa nyumbani tuko na kiongozi wetu ambaye anaitwa Fred Matiang'I. Sisi tumeamua tutashirikiana na yeye, tutafanya ile bidii ambayo inatakikana ili kuonyesha kuwa yeye amekuwa rais wa taifa hili, na hakuna mtu yeyote atatusurutisha. Hakuna uoga. Sisi tumepitia uoga na tumeamua tutaenda mbele. Na kwa kumalizia, ile maneno ambayo imeleta hii shida ni kwa sababu nimeenda Chana Sironga nikasema rais wetu ni Fred Matiang'I. Hakuna maneno mengine. Wakasema wameleta pesa bilioni 27 ambao inatengeneza madarasa ambao